Ah yes, we're going to be reviewing an old friend of ours today. And no, that's not Battlefield 4. Man, I wish I was reviewing Battlefield 4. I mean, I could do that, but, you know, a lot of YouTubers probably done it, and yada yada yada. Plus, Battlefield 4 obviously holds a very, high place in the Battlefield community. And, if I'm gonna be honest, it's like one of my top two favorite games of all time. Hell, it's probably even tied with Battlefield 1. But today we're not going to be talking about Battlefield 1 or Battlefield 4. No, I might compare the games to the game we'll be going over today, but it's not either one of those. The game, it's Battlefield 5. Yes, I know that back when I did my video in 2019, I gave my personal view about it. I was kind of mad about the game. I didn't really care about it too much at the end of the day because I was like, you know what, this Battlefield game's like, yeah, I don't really see it. Like, I'm not saying it was a bad game even then. I was just, not really feeling it. So obviously I made limited videos, about gameplay of Battlefield 5, and overall I just didn't enjoy the game, if I'm gonna be honest. Not saying it was bad, just, kinda a little bit lower my expectations, but that's besides the point. If anything, today we're going to be giving our good old friend another run, and determine if it's worth buying the game, if it's worth, replaying the game today, and, see if the game generally improved or gone down the shitter more. So today, we're going to be looking at Battlefield 5. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. If you need to, get popcorn or something, because this could be a little bit more in-depth than how I usually do it. And no, by the way, I'm not going to be, talking too much about the controversy and stuff, even though the controversy is like dead, obviously, because that was like back in 2018. But I am going to be talking about the customizations, but I don't think like it's going to get around, to that point. It's just going to be more my opinion. So yeah, if anything though, let's get started. Now, as I said in my older video about Battlefield 5, I've stated that, I wasn't really a big fan of the sniping in the game, the new sniping mechanics. I was kind of, a little disappointed, plus, it felt less satisfying to me back then. So overall, I had a more negative look on the sniping on Battlefield 5 than, let's just say, like on Battlefield 1, where, I sniped a lot there. And now, when I gave the game a spin again, and after, playing it for a few hours, and even for a couple days, and trying to gauge the sniping, I gotta say now that the sniping in the game is not as bad as, say, like back in, Battlefield 4, where, that game is very difficult to snipe on, only because you're competing with assault rifles and, very powerful shotguns and stuff as well. So I gotta say in Battlefield 5, the sniping is good on here. Well, I'm not gonna say it's amazing, but it is good on here. It provides a challenge, so if anything, if you want to kind of prove yourself, you have good aim and all that, then snipers are the way to go. Plus, if anything, sniping muzzle velocity is lower, and there is no sweet spot, which in Battlefield 1, the sweet spot was you're at a certain range, so you could one-shot players without needing to get a headshot. And, well, I guess for certain people, they just like it that way. So yeah, I gotta say that sniping isn't that bad. If anything, to compare muzzle velocities, by the way, to, different guns and all that. The Kar 98K in this game, which is the bolt action rifle with the fastest muzzle velocity, only goes at 700 meters per second, compared to the Gewehr 98 in Battlefield 1 that shot muzzle velocity of 880 meters per second. So yeah, pretty big difference there. Unless if you never played a Battlefield game, then that wouldn't seem that big, but it is pretty big of a difference. So yeah, if anything, initially I thought it was bad, but after giving it a try, it's pretty good. Probably just kind of sucked at sniping, but hey. Now, on to the next part. Now, I don't think I have mentioned this in my other video about Battlefield 5, but one of the issues I had with Battlefield 5 when it launched was the amount of weapons it released with. Like, oh my god, bro. It only released with 30 weapons at launch, which is only including, I believe, like, only guns and rocket launchers, and so it's just like, bro, it somehow had less content at launch than Battlefield 1, weapons wise, which is, it was something, alright? I was disappointed about that. Though, as of now, it has way more weapons. It has 92 weapons, in fact, counting, you know, only guns and rocket launchers, so it is doing well when it comes to that department. And if anything, it has more weapons than Battlefield 1. Battlefield 1 only has, I believe, 86 weapons in game right now, which includes, you know, DLC. So if anything, it's way better now in my opinion. And plus, what I like is, of course, the customization you get in Battlefield 5. If anything, I'll show you an example just so you can get a better understanding of how it works in Battlefield 5. Okay, as you can see, we are on the weapon customization and character screen. As you can see, you see the semi-auto rifle. And compared to Battlefield 1, you have a skill tree, as I'll call it. You know, or specialization tree, you could call it. And you could change your weapon how it performs. So, you want quick aim, or you want barrel bending. You want custom stocks, or you want a detachable magazine. Do you want recoil buffer, or quick reload? High velocity rounds, or a lightning stock, you know? And it's very nice to have this option. And then also that, but for customization, you could choose, oh, you don't want to use a close range scope? Well, you could just use a red dot sight. Well, or just like a dot sight, I'll just call it, or with the reticle, I don't know. But anyways, you could choose a sight, and it's very nice, especially considering that, you know, in Battlefield 1 you have to choose infantry variants, you know, as I'll show you right now. Now, as you can see on Battlefield 1, you got your weapons and stuff. So, you know, let's say I want to play with the Russian 1895. Well, I want to play with iron sights. Okay, well, you choose that. I could change how the sights are. So, iron sights radium. Change magnification. Choose to put a bayonet. Or change the skin on it, you know. Stuff like that. But, you know, let's say I want to play with the high-powered scope now. So, I choose the sniper variant. And, change the magnification of the scope again. The reticle, if I want a bayonet, and the skins. But the thing is like, okay, well, okay, I don't want to play with that anymore, and I want, like, let's say, like a cool experimental red dot sight or whatever from World War One. Well, guess what? You can't put one because there's no variant of it, so you're stuck with these, and I could see why it turns player off from kind of, you know, grinding more in the game and trying to progress on here, because it's like, well, I can't really, you know, do anything much with my weapons besides, you know, get super, well, not super well, that's kind of over exaggerating it, but, you know, I can't really do much with my weapons, and I can't really put it to the desire of how I like to use it. I can't do anything to control the recoil besides, you know, mastering how to control the gun's recoil and yada yada yada. And so let's see why players were upset about them when Battlefield 1 released, and, you know, still to this day. But at least with Battlefield 5, they allow you to, you know, do that stuff. And if anything, I gotta say, that's a good thing. If anything, I'm glad that Battlefield 5 has more weapons, and I'm glad that Battlefield 5 gives you choices to customize your weapons to fit your playstyle a bit more than on here in Battlefield 1. So yeah. Now, the gameplay has vastly improved overall in Battlefield 5, I must say that. If anything, the game feels smoother, it runs smoother, and the maps they release and stuff is way better, you know? Doesn't feel as buggy and broken as they did at launch. If anything, it feels great, you know? Now, one thing to be aware of when you play Battlefield 5 to Battlefield 4, 1 or 3 players that hadn't played Battlefield 5 yet, is that the first off, the gameplay is different than in those Battlefield games. And the TTK in this game is faster than those. I would say from my own personal experience that the weapons feel like they kill you faster compared to the other ones, and plus the people on Battlefield 5, in my opinion, tend to play more competitively. Like, sure, there's pretty competitive people on Battlefield 4 or Battlefield 3, but it tends to not, I don't know, just something about it just feels more competitive. And to Battlefield 1 player as well, you're kind of have a little bit of a difficult time to adjust, considering that Battlefield 1 is a more easier Battlefield game to get into and learn about the different aspects of Battlefield. So yeah, if anything, just be aware of that, especially, you don't, if you either never even played a Battlefield game or just coming over from other Battlefields and hadn't played Battlefield 5 yet. So yeah, but overall, the game is pretty good in gameplay department, not so much issues as before. And yeah, though I would say that I do encounter some annoying things time to time, and I kinda still hate the whole, call out your teammate thing where you're just saying they're bleeding out. I mean, it was a nice feature, but I don't know, it's just because sometimes I could be close to my teammates and I still die. So yeah, I mean, you just gotta be lucky that the medics are actually playing as a good medic. And in Battlefield 5, it's a hit or miss with the medics, from my experience. Though if you're playing and communicating with the whole squad, then the game could be a lot of fun, and you guys could have a kick-ass time. Though that's with any Battlefield game, though in Battlefield 5, the role of squads are more important than any other Battlefield game. So yeah, other than that, that's for the gameplay section. Now, on to the next. No, definitely one of the complaints I had for the game, and I didn't talk about in my video, was the maps. The maps in this game, I don't know, bro. I didn't really like them at all. Like, I mean, some of them were okay, like the one you've seen in this gameplay right now. I actually like this map. Felt balanced with the vehicles and infantry play overall, but the overall gameplay of a lot of the maps were horrible. Like, take this for example, Ponta Storm, as you see right here. As you can tell, the map is very open. There's not that much buildings. You could see some trees and maybe a little bit of dugouts, and that's it. But in my opinion, this map was horrible. Like, probably for vehicle players, this might be the greatest map ever, but to a lot of people who just play infantry and all that, this was, in my opinion, a very bad map. It basically, in my opinion, was the Goumond of Battlefield 5. A lot of open spaces, not too much things to not too much buildings to go into, or provide any, dynamic gameplay. And, the hills in this game are, very small, to the point where you just don't even notice it. And, it's kind of was a disappointing experience. And, you could argue that Goumond did have, hills and all, and I'll give it that. So Ponta Storm in a way is worse than Goumond, but it's very comparable to Goumond, considering how biased it is towards, vehicle play, which, I mean, is fine, players could play with vehicles, and there might be some maps that are more designated for vehicles, but the thing was, it was very heavily biased towards vehicles. So vehicles would be dominating the whole map the whole time, and it's kind of hard to counter them, especially if your team was asleep on the job and wasn't really doing anything. So yeah, plus another map I didn't really like was Twisted Steel. Now, it wasn't as bad as Ponta Storm, only because it had a less bias of vehicles and more and it's just, in my opinion, it's just more, I guess, of mess when it comes to certain things. Like, in my opinion, just the amount of trees and stuff kind of ruined it. Plus that big bridge in the middle was just, I don't know, bro. Kind of ruined the aspect of gameplay, and then just, yeah, I don't know, I just didn't really like the map overall. just design, in my opinion, is bad. You know, you could say, well, this map is great for sniping. Well, it's an okay map for sniping, but there's better ones like Wake Island or Narvik. But yeah, if anything, I could see how, you know, this was one of the biggest, you know, deal breakers to Battlefield players or any other people wanting to play this game, because the map designs during launch were horrible, you know, poorly executed and stuff. So yeah, if anything though, now with newer maps, as I said, like Wake Island and stuff, it definitely has improved overall, especially with certain changes that were made. So yeah, map play, I'd say, is, you know, is decent. It's not super great or, you know, horrible, just, you know, right there in the middle with things. So yeah. Now, one of the things I don't like about Battlefield 5 still, and, you know, I hope they don't make this mistake again in the next Battlefield title, is the overall atmosphere. Now, atmosphere in any video game, in fact, is kind of hard to talk about. I mean, sure, you could kind of say that for any other point, for, you know, a review or whatever. You gotta play the actual game to get the full effect. Though but with those, you can actually show it easier. You know, you can kind of see what we're talking about. Though for parts of controls and all that, yeah, you gotta play it. But you know, overall, it's easier to talk about those parts. In atmosphere, you get the full effect in order to completely understand. So here's what I'll just say. All right. Battlefield 5 doesn't really feel like a World War II video game. And yes, people might get mad about that or whatever, but it just doesn't really feel like that to me. I mean, sure, you could kind of say, well, Battlefield 1 didn't feel like a World War 1 video game. The thing is that it felt more authentic to World War 1 due to, you know, all the many different things. The graphics weren't overly saturated, and then, you know, times with how, you know, there was no leaves on the trees and all, and just a lot of other things, you know, a lot of other factors that played in that game. Meanwhile, in Battlefield 5, it just, I don't know, it doesn't really feel like it has its own authenticity in some ways, you know. And I mean, some people don't mind it. To me, I kind of do, but, you know, it's my personal opinion. If anything, you know, I'll show you right now. Now, as you can see right here, automatically, you know, the game looks different, obviously. It's a bit older, but the graphics still look very good, especially for a base PS4 that I'm playing this game on. It looks beautiful. But as you can see, the game looks different, you know. You got your trenches, a lot of mud in the way, you know. You got your places that got bombarded by artillery. You got, you know, your weapons. You can't expect them, but you could still, you know, see how they look, and they look beautiful in this game, honestly. So, you know, it really begs the question of, did they really put time in making the game feel authentic to World War One? Now, sure, multiplayer is a little bit, you know, not really care about much, but with the war stories that they added, you know, I wasn't really too interested in playing the war stories to begin with, but from what I've seen on other channels and stuff, they just don't really look interesting to me. Just, it looks poorly presented. The war stories don't look super great, and the overall gameplay for the war stories look boring. I mean, not to say that war stories have always been great. In fact, Battlefield 4, in my opinion, has one of the most generic war stories ever, most boring. But Battlefield 5 had missed opportunity when it came to that one. So yeah, if anything, this is how Battlefield 1 looks, you know. Looks way more amazing when it comes to the overall feel of it. Looks more gritty overall, and you know what? It's better that it's this way. If anything, now that's enough for this part of the video. If anything, time to take this one home. Now, what's my overall opinion of Battlefield 5? Well, it has had massive improvements, and generally it's fun to play now, and it's not as broken as it was at launch. And, you know, thank God it's in this state now. If anything, I'm glad that it's gone better. Though, DICE, for the love of God, for your next Battlefield title, do not do the same mistake like you did for Battlefield 5. Please do not make the same PR nightmarish disasters along with EA and please just don't. Please, bro. If anything, I hope the next Battlefield title is great, and hopefully EA doesn't do some BS. And if anything, I hope DICE doesn't do some BS. If anything, though, this was my overview of Battlefield 5 in 2021. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and yeah, if anything, I'll see you in the next video. See you guys. Bye. Have a great one.